Hi everybody, we're here to go through the steps in the procedure for the self-evaluation part of your annual performance review. We're going to use the PDS system for this. So if you remember from a few months ago from setting up your goals, you get into the PDS through the Legrand Service Center. So you should all have your username and password. If you run into any trouble at all at this step, if your password's expired or if you can't get in, send me a note and we'll get a password reset for you. So once you get into the Legrand Service Center, you want to go to the Human Resources section. And once you're in Human Resources, you'll see the link for People Development System, or PDS. So again, this should probably be familiar for you from when we came in and did our goals. So once we're into the PDS system, here's where we're going to start doing some of the different steps. All right, there's a couple of different sections of the self-evaluation that we're going to look at. One of the sections is focused on goals, so this is the work that we set out to accomplish. One of the sections is focused on your performance, your competency profile. So this is how we go about our daily work. And then there's another section that's focused on career development. So we'll look at each one of those in order here. So let's start out with the goals. So if you remember, the green section of the PDS color wheel is your goals. So if you click on that, it'll take you to your goal plan. And then once that section comes up here, and we'll wait for it to arrive, it'll list all the goals that you've created and that your manager has approved. And you should see a little red bullet over here that says year-end goal evaluation. So when you click on that, that'll take you to the form that we're going to use to evaluate our goals. So what you'll see is, again, you've got the listing of all your goals. It talks about the weight that's assigned to each one of those, and you now have the chance to evaluate your performance on those goals. So you can see that you've got no longer applicable, below target, on target, or above target. So you'll want to select the appropriate rating and then put a little bit of information in the little text box that explains the goal. Maybe it describes the output, tells you what some of those the metrics were, how you know that you've accomplished them. Whatever is appropriate for you. Don't put just a couple of words. Make it real. Put a good paragraph of information in there. Something that's going to really be descriptive for your boss and any reviewer to be able to take a look at that. So you'll want to go through that process for each one of the goals, and you'll see that there's a rating button and a text field for each one of the goals that you've submitted and approved. Once you've got all of that rating done, you can click Submit at the bottom. If you don't get everything done all at once, there's a button that says Save as Draft. So if you want to get through half of your goals right now and save the rest for later, you can click on Save as Draft and then come back to it. Or if you get everything done all at once, go ahead and click on Submit. Once you have everything done, though, click on the Submit Goal Evaluation, and that'll submit the goal part of the performance review to your boss. Okay, so now that you're done with the goal evaluation, now it's time to look at the competency evaluation part. Legrand has established 7 key competencies that all of us focus on. Now, the specific behaviors and the specific descriptions for these competencies may vary depending upon our level, whether we're an individual contributor or whether we're the leader of a team or the leader of an organization. But the competencies themselves are all the same. So there's a definition sheet that you can find over here on your list of resources called PDS Competency Definitions. And if you open that up and take a look at it, it gives you a pretty good description of what those competencies are. So they're things like customer focus, achievement and results motivation, working across a team, learning and development, continuous improvement, and so on. Now, one thing that is going to be specific is an area called professional skills, and this is where you have the chance to define some of the specific competencies that are focused solely on your job or your position. So those will be unique, but the other competencies are going to be the same. So please take a look at that when you have an opportunity to get an idea of those competencies and how they're defined. What you'll need to do is go to the purple section, the My Performance section, and here's where you've got to select the competency profile that you're going to use. And the profile means basically which set of descriptions are you going to use based upon your job level. So you'll see that there's a red action button that says Select Competency Profile. You want to select that. That'll give you a drop down. And then from that drop down, that lets you make the selection, again, based on whether you're an individual contributor. So if you have no direct reports, if you're not supervising anybody in the organization, you can select that one. If you are a manager or a supervisor, you would select the team leadership selection. And if you're the head of a functional area, so if you're a director or above, you would select the organization leadership profile. So make these proper selection, again, based upon your role and your function in the organization. If you're unsure about anything here, contact your HR manager, and he or she can help you out with making sure that you've got the right profile selected. So once you make that selection, you'll see that it lists the competencies and the specific behaviors that make up those competencies. So again, you want to take a look at those and become familiar with that. And then you'll see that there's an open field called professional skill. And again, here is where you've got something that's very specific to your job. So depending upon your role in the organization, here's where you can add some of the specific skills that may be necessary for you to perform in your role. So maybe it's some kind of a computer application, or maybe it's a specific technical skill. So those technical skills and abilities that are again very unique to you, that's what you would put in that final area. So once you've written that into that text field, click on the Select This Competency Profile, and it will save your selections, and then you've got your competency profile selected. Selecting your competency profile only gets you halfway done, though. So now that you've got the right competency profile, you still need to evaluate your performance against those competencies. So if you're still on the purple section, you're still on that My Performance section of the PDS, you'll see over here on the left the little red action button that says Year-End Self-Evaluation. So this will open up the form that you'll use to evaluate yourself on those particular competencies that you've selected as part of your profile. So you'll see the competency itself, and it describes some of these specific behaviors, and you have the ability now to evaluate how you think you fulfill those behaviors. And you'll see that you've got somewhat evident, fully evident, or expertly applied. So if you need to break that down a little bit further, you can click on the button that says Competency Rating Guide, and this asks you some very specific questions and gives you some very specific numerical ratings that you can use to really kind of drill down into the right evaluation of your behavior. So you'll see that you've got a spectrum from unacceptable to excellent, and you'll want to rate yourself anywhere from 0 to 6 on that spectrum. So you can see for each one of these specific behaviors, you've got an ability to make a selection. So if we make a selection for each one of these, and I'm going to go ahead and just make a couple of them here, it really gets very granular. So it really gives you a lot of detail that you can use in order to evaluate your behavior and how you're doing at this competency. Down at the bottom, you've got an opportunity to add some verbal information. So if you're struggling with a particular behavior or a particular competency, you've got that capability to describe that. You can talk about specific examples. You can fill out those text fields, and then once you're completed with that, click on Save and Return. Now what this will do is this will use those numerical ratings, and it will give you a suggestion on what to rate yourself. So again, based on the selections that you made there, this here is telling me that I should select fully evident. So I can make that selection, and then I can put some specific comments and examples on why I made that selection for customer focus. Once I've got that one done, I'm going to continue on and do the same thing for each one of the other competencies. So again, teamwork and working across functions. Again, I can make a selection. If I need some specific help with that, I can go into the competency rating guide, and again, it will give me that spectrum of descriptions for specific behaviors. So it's not required that I use that competency rating guide, but it's a pretty nice little tool that I can use. So you want to go through that for each one of your competencies, make your selection, fill out again several sentences, maybe a paragraph of justification why you made those selections, And all the way down at the bottom, you'll see that you've got a summary that talks about some of your strengths, some of the developmental opportunities, some of the areas where you want to improve, and then a section for career aspirations. So take the time to really be thoughtful and deliberate here. And even if you're not entirely sure about what specific career aspirations you may have, talk about some of the general goals that you have, some of the areas that you may want to explore. So once you've got the entire evaluation completed, you want to click on the Submit to My Manager button. Again, if you don't have everything done all the way, but you want to save your work, there's a button that says Save as Draft. So make the appropriate selection. If you save it as a draft, make sure that you come back to it and that you complete it. Once everything is done, you'll want to click on that Submit to My Manager button. All right, so we're just about done. We've got our goal evaluation completed, and we've got our competency evaluation completed. Last thing that we want to do is we want to update our career profile. So we took a look at this back when we kicked off the PDS a few months ago. So again, remember that it's the blue section on the PDS color wheel. So go ahead and open that up again, and you'll see that you've got the career profile. And if you open that up, you'll see again you've got the descriptions there for education, certifications, skills, experience, and so on and so forth. So be sure that you update this. Hopefully you've already taken the time to flesh this out a little bit already. But if you haven't, take the time now to be sure that you do that. So you may have added skills since the last time that you visited this section. So make sure that you make additions in terms of experience, in terms of projects that you've worked on, in terms of skills that you've added. Be sure that you take the time to really make sure that that section is complete, because the information that's in here, again, is going to be reviewed by the senior leadership at Legrand when things come up for promotions or developmental opportunities and things like that. So this information really is used. It's not something where it gets filed away and then nobody ever looks at it. So please be sure to do that and make sure that you save all your work and make sure that that's completed. Okay, so now that you've completed your employee profile update, your work is completed. You've done your goal evaluation and you've done your competency evaluation, and you've got the info in your career profile updated, so you're done. Please don't wait until the last minute. The deadline that we've got is January 6th. I'm sure you'll see several reminders in the next couple of weeks, but don't wait until the last minute. Please take it easy on your manager. The next steps are going to be that your manager is going to do his or her own evaluation of your goals and of your competencies. And then they'll schedule a meeting sometime in the first couple of months of next year to get together and talk about your performance. And you're also going to do some work setting goals for next year as well. So be on the lookout for more announcements to talk about the dates. And again, your manager is going to set up some time specifically to talk about not just looking backwards and evaluating how you've performed in 2014, but also looking forwards and looking at the goals for next year and your own personal goals, your career goals. So be on the lookout for that information. Again, if you have any difficulty getting into the Legrand Service Center, please contact me directly. Send me an email, and we can get your password reset if we need to. I hope this information has been helpful for you. If you have any questions at all about anything, just give me a shout. Good luck, everybody. We'll talk to you later.